I had a really good time with this series, and I think you will too, but I got a lot to break down with it. So without further ado, let's jump into my review of the new series, Archive 81. What's up, folks, and welcome back to the channel today for another review. And today we're going to be reviewing this series, Archive 81, which is coming to Netflix January 14th. All 8 episodes, they're about an hour each, and this is a series that you don't want to miss. Now, first, I'm a huge fan of our lead here, one of our leads here, and Mamoudou Athie, who plays this guy Dan. I'll come back to in a second. And then the co-star here and Dina Shihabi, who plays Melody. The fact that I'm very familiar with the cast, huge fan of Mamoudou, as I said. And then this is like a psychological thriller mystery, a whole bunch of different things all mixed together, but it is a genre that I really much enjoy. I love this stirring pot of different things going on here. But also, if you haven't seen Mamoudou Athie's last film, Black Box, which was on Amazon, this kind of floats down the same path, which means that knowing how he performed in that movie within this genre, I was for sure confident that he was going to take us for a ride in this one, and he did. Because, you know, part of the whole mystery, part of the whole, like, you know, discovery of events and being invested is you have to be concerned with our leads. You need to know that they're going through some type of search for something that they're passionate about, and they're running into dead ends. You need to feel that whole discovery with them, and that they both did very excellent. But in this, like I said, Mamoudou plays Dan, who is an archivist, and he is sent on a job here to restore a bunch of damaged videotapes, which seems to be just more than just a job here. Like, Dan has been through a lot. He's had some stuff happen with his family, and you know, if anybody knows anything about videotape restoring, it is a very delicate job that for one, somebody can be truly passionate about, but two, it takes a lot of patience and virtue, because you really got to be very careful for what you're doing. So essentially, this job not only provides Dan income, but it actually helps towards all the things that he's been dealing with in the past. This is kind of therapeutic for him. But as I said, it's just more than just a job, because this now becomes a swirling mystery of different things occurring that involves the missing director behind these tapes, who was at the time investigating a demonic cult. So then, not only that, but things seem to become very personal for all parties involved. And it's not really coincidental that Dan was hired for this job. It becomes a lot more than that. So if you can't follow along with that, because like I'm trying to really avoid a lot of the plot specific points here to not give it anything away. It's easily put. Dan was hired for a job, and then in the job he was investigating Melody, who played by Dina, who at the times of these tapes, Melody was investigating a demonic cult. Melody has been missing. Dan is trying to figure it all out while restoring it. So he's not only investing into the job, but now he's investing into this documentary essentially that she was putting together. And then, like I said, things start to become personal, and things start to not just be so coincidental after all. So there's that. So here's the thing. Melody's purpose into doing this documentary was because she was looking for her biological mother, who had just up and left her with no trace. And then mysteriously, her mother sends her a postage that was then return address led her to this compound, in which this was where she started to investigate the residents there and started to discover that it was a lot more going here beneath the eye. And that happened some odd years ago. This happened in 1994. Where essentially Dan is in the present day. With that being said, and again, this is a 25-year gap between here. Dan starts to realize that there is a connection between all of this. And not just that, but like he starts to think he sees Melody in like his dreams and stuff like that. Which it is, you know, really driven paranoia of his own. Like things start to get entirely creepy. And that's when things start to get crazy, because like with this little bridging of connection here between the past and present, this is when things get unhinged. So like the first few episodes really compile and really sets the table as far as all the events and different things that are happening. And then eventually things start to really get unraveled. About episode 4 to 5 is when things really starts to pile on. And then things start to connecting, dreams and reality starts to blur, and it gets really crazy. So like I said, one of my favorite genres, and with this series being really diving into mystery, sci-fi, psychological thriller, with a ton of investigating and theorizing, very mind-bending as well. And then like, it's just filled with so many characters that you're just going to be suspicious of each and every time you see them. So like, it truly has you at the edge of your seat. Now, to be virtually honest, I felt like this series started pretty much slow. I also wish there was a little bit more of the horror element to it in terms of like the score, the jump scares. I really never ever say I want jump scares, but this could have really did it, because I think it could have really kept people not just so much like this in terms of watching it, but more like this, like, oh, what's next? What's gonna happen next? Because if this had been any more than 8 episodes, I don't know if I would have been truly satisfied with it, because I feel like it was just good enough to detail all the information with good pacing, but the pacing could have been better. Good, but not great. Could have been better, and I think a couple of added elements of horror could have really helped. And I think, again, the score, some jump scares, and so on. But the cinematography was great. The acting was great, especially by your leads. They really kept you invested. And you just kept wanting to know more and more and more about the two things that were happening, because while the stuff that was happening in tapes and while the stuff that was happening in the present day. And yeah, and that's just like the tip of the iceberg here, shall I say. I should also add that James Wan is attached to this as the EP, one of the EPs. So like there's another added level of expectation with what he brings. But like I said, this series has everything. It has mediums, and when the medium is involved, things just gets flipped because of just that found footage feeling, sort of say, when he's looking through the archives footage and the mystery and all of the different things that are happening. That actually adds to it as well. Beginning of each episode has these commercials that have like, and while the commercials have their own retro aesthetic to them, they also tell a message and kind of foreshadowing what's going to happen within the episode. So that was pretty cool. They had this really creepy theme song / melody that was kind of happening. That is kind of, I don't know. But like this thing does, this film explores all sorts of different things. A series explores all sorts of different things. Other dimensions, demons, rituals. Things get trippy. And then the ending, which I can't talk about, but the ending definitely leaves you wanting more, and I would definitely be down for a season 2, as this series is actually this series is actually because of a famous podcast. So like that's where the source material is from. I'm not familiar with the podcast, but I know they do reference it in the beginning of the episodes that this is inspired by a podcast and whatnot. So like obviously there should be more and more source material to go. But even if not, even if they decide to do their own unique thing going forward, you still want to know more. But it also makes you want to be interested in what the podcast has to say and do as well too. So overall, it was good. And one other thing, I should say, supporting characters also really played an important part in this, because man, all these supporting characters, the surrounding characters, provided a lot of conflict. And then there was like some gaslighting and just misleading on purpose. It was a lot going on. So I enjoyed it. 8 episodes, and I stuck through it the entire time. And while I said the pacing felt a little bit slow in the beginning, I'm a sucker for a mystery, sci-fi, psychological thriller that's mind-bending. Like, these are the things I love. So I stuck to it because I needed to know how this was all going to play out with good performances and so on. So, but check it out, Archive 81. It is on Netflix. It will be available January 14th. Jump in the comments, folks. Let me know your thoughts about this when you do. And as always, stay tuned for more reviews very soon.